Hi, everybody at the Boss Training Camp. I hope you have a sensational week. I'm Brady, Schulz, Boss's Advanced Sports Dietitian, here to give you some tips for the weekend. Tip number one, hydration. It's getting warm and we really need to start thinking about our water intake. I'm going to throw something out at you. How much do you sweat an hour? Now, if you don't know, put yourself on this scale. Typically, an athlete during training in about 23, 24 degree temperatures is going to sweat anywhere from about 400 mils to approximately 1.5 litres an hour. Think about yourself. Are you a light sweater, a moderate sweater, or a heavy sweater? Where do you possibly fit on that scale? Now I'm going to ask you this question. If you think you sweat about 500-600 mils an hour, whatever it might be, how much are you actually drinking each hour that you're training? Now, if you replenish with what you're losing, so if you think you might be 500 mils an hour, you're drinking 500 mils an hour, hey, you're probably going pretty good. Well done. Plus, you need your fluid, rest of your fluid on top of that for the day. But if you're a heavier sweater, around 800, 900 or a litre worth of sweat an hour, and you're not drinking that, we need you to be able to ensure that after you finish training, that you're replenishing with 150% of what you lose. So if you, let's say, sweat a litre an hour and you don't drink anything for that hour, you need to drink 1.5 litres in the next 30 or 45 minutes to sufficiently rehydrate from the session that you've just participated in. Now, that's crazy. That's not good to do. So it's good to be able to make sure you're hydrating during your sessions appropriately, hydrating before and after your sessions. Now, how much water should we be drinking a day? Well, typically a smaller petite female will need about, on average, 1.8 litres of water a day if she's doing nothing and sitting in air conditioning. A bigger man who's really active and doing what he needs to in an office environment during the day might need about 2.5 or 2.6 litres of water for the day without doing exercise and without being in the heat. Now, you guys are athletes and you're competing and you're training and you're going to have a great time at training camp. But I'm going to ask you this question. Put yourself on that scale. Where do you think you are between needing 1.8 to 2.6 litres of water a day? That's what you need to just sit inside in air conditioning and do nothing. However, you guys aren't doing that. You're out there sweating, doing a hang of a lot of stuff. That's your base level of hydration requirements for the day. But on top of that, you need to add in extra for each hour you train. So let's say you've got a sweat rate of a litre an hour, then you're training for 4 hours. Guess what? That's 4 litres plus the other 2 litres that you need. You might need 6 litres of water that day. Now, I don't say this to scare you. I say this to get you thinking. You might be sitting back going, well, where am I on that scale? Well, I've told you. Anywhere from 400 mils to 1.5 litres an hour could be your sweat rate on average. And, ask Beck what her sweat rate is. Ask Kylie what her sweat rate is. They've done sweat tests with me. They'll be able to give you an indication about where they're at. And then you can kind of go, well, am I a lighter sweater than them or a heavier sweater than them? And you can just plot yourself to what might be appropriate or approximate for you. But typically around that 500 to 600 mils an hour is typical of what I would see of a lot of people. Slightly heavier sweaters around 800 to 900 mils an hour in the heat, and heavier sweaters definitely over a litre an hour. So this is going to be a really important thing that you get right. Now, you can count electrolytes as fluid for the day. You can count tea as fluid for the day. You can count those fluids with your total load of fluid intake for the day. But with the amount of training you're going to be doing on camp, you likely will need electrolytes, particularly in the heat. Please make sure you keep up with it. I don't want anybody suffering heat stroke, and I don't want anybody collapsing. The other really important thing to remember when you're doing a training camp is sufficiency of carbohydrates. Now, some of you might be trying to release body fat. That's okay, but you're still going to need carbs after you train. Why? Because carbs form glycogen in your muscles to help you train better at your next session. So let's say you've just done a 2 or 3 hour ride and you're going to back up that afternoon and do some runs or swims. You need to have carbohydrates, not at night time when you're about to go to bed and have a big plate full of pasta. You need to have the carbs straight after that session. That's called carbohydrate periodization. You put your carbs in there, you help that muscle replenish and refuel and really get itself in a good position to help you perform at your next session. That's when you should be having your carbs after you train. So rather than just having one toast with 2 eggs and going, oh, I'm being very good, after a big training session in the morning, you probably should be having a couple slices of toast with your coffee or a juice or a smoothie and your eggs and your bacon or your textured vegetable protein if you're vegan, and or tofu, and maximizing not only the protein for muscle recovery and repair, but also the carbohydrates, so you've got sufficient energy to participate the best you can in this training camp. And then on top of that, the water, because for every gram of glycogen your body stores, it stores 3 grams of fluid with it, which assists with your muscular hydration, which assists with overall body hydration. Righty, everybody. Look, I hope this has been insightful. I hope this has given you just a couple ideas and tips to be able to take away from the weekend. I could talk about this all day. If you ever need to see me, just go to hla.au. That's, no .com, just hla.au. That's got all of our contact details. Consulting from Ipswich these days, once a month. Brisbane, once a month. Otherwise, I'm up to them with the rest of the time. So hopefully I'll see you all at a triathlon soon. Everybody have a cracker Noosa Tri. I'm not doing it this year. I'm doing an adventure race instead. I have childhood duties to attend to with 3 little bubbers. And yeah, just have a wonderful time at the training camp. Rightio. Peace, everybody. Have a great time. Bye.